Okay, so we are here with Susan Zimerle, and Susan had a house fire and is a client with FirstCall. And Susan, tell me about your fire. What happened?
I went to school, left for school that morning, and around noon, someone called me and told me I needed to get home because my house was on fire. I got home and I had a 4,800 square foot house. I had lived there for 25 years, right at 25 years, and the house was totally engulfed by that time, and I lost everything I had ever had in my life. I'm 63 years old, and everything I've ever accumulated over a lifetime was gone.
Okay, had you ever been through anything like that before?
No, I had not. Nothing with a fire or anything like that.
Did you know what happened next or what to expect? Or
Well, no, not in that instant. I mean, I've had experience. I've lost 2 husbands, and I've lost a daughter-in-law, and both my parents. And so, in that type of world, I knew what to do and how to handle things because I've always had to handle all those things. But this was a whole new world to me. I had no idea. All I knew was that I had good insurance, I thought, with the Hartford, and I had been with them for better than 10 years and had always had the premium policy. I think they call it the platinum policy or whatever. So I always felt very comfortable that no matter whatever happened, in my life where my home was concerned, that I would be covered and everything would be taken care of as well as it could be.
well, what changed that?
Well, that part I can't answer. I don't know. Obviously, I didn't. The insurance that I had was the best that you could have with them, but the problem is that I had no idea that insurance companies would be as cold and unfeeling and uncaring as they have been. And in working with them, it was almost a comedy of errors for months. It was one mistake and one problem after the other. They actually sent 3 different adjusters. The first 2 were not even qualified to work on the size of claim that I had. The last one, when he finally showed up almost 8-9 weeks after the fire, he at least was supposedly at the level that he could make some decisions about things and got on track and got a lot of things taken care of at that point.
Well, how did you hear about FirstCall?
Well, I didn't really. 2 people from FirstCall actually came to one of my son's homes looking for me, and I was not there. And then that same son that was actually visiting at the house, the son that he came to, happened to see him at the gas station, and he thought he was a census taker. Because at the time, that was what was going on. People were going door to door trying to check on the census. And he thought he was a census taker. And so then when he saw him at the filling station, or the gas station up in town, he went up and asked him, he said, are you with the census? And he said no, and he told him he was with FirstCall and that he was trying to get in touch with me. And so my son spoke with him for a while, and he gave him a packet and told her with all the information in it, and my son brought it to me.
And so did you just sit on it for a little while and read about it?
I looked at it and I thought, well, you know what, I can handle this because, I've been through so much in my life and I've had to deal with so many things. And, I've been a city official many times over the last 30 years and have worked in politics and been in education for 40 years and stuff. And, I'm used to handling and dealing with things. And I thought that it would just be a process of just doing what I needed to do. And at the time, I still felt like they were going to do what they needed to do to help me. But as time went on, it didn't look that way. So I read the stuff from FirstCall, and I thought, well, it wouldn't hurt anything to talk to them. And so I did call and set up an appointment, and they came up here to the school to talk with me.
And had you ever heard of a public insurance adjuster before?
I was not familiar with any of that because I've never dealt with that type of situation before. So
how would you know?
I was not aware of it. Correct.
Were you skeptical?
Very, very. Especially with having done budgets and worked with the types of things that I've had to work with over my life, and doing city budgets, working with. I'm a real estate agent also, working in that field. I mean, you begin to be a little skeptical, and you hear things on the news all the time about people that come in when you've had a tragedy and want to get you to agree to let them take care of things when basically it's a room and all they're wanting to do is just get part of your money. And so, at that time, I just kind of was like, well, I don't know about this. And so that was why I was so hesitant to talk with them.
Well, what made you finally decide to use FirstCall?
Well, after they came up and spoke with me, and I was already so frustrated with the insurance company because I was getting nowhere. And after speaking with them and talking with them and hearing what they had to say, I felt like at that time, because I was at my wit's end, I was in no shape by then. I was worn out. I was discouraged. I was confused. They had just put me through the ringer on all kinds of things I had to go through with the insurance company, and yet I wasn't really getting anywhere. And I was becoming very just very discouraged. So after speaking with them, I thought, well, this might be a good idea.
Yeah. Well, tell me about your experience with FirstCall.
Well, at first I was still apprehensive. I have to admit I was very apprehensive because you always think, well, I'm sure there's more to this than I'm saying. There's got to be. But they sent 2 ladies out to start meeting with me, Tanya, and Dee. And it didn't take but just a very few minutes. They put me very much at ease. They made me very comfortable. They made me begin to think that maybe there was going to be some hope of getting something done because they were very professional. They knew what they were doing. I was very impressed with that. They didn't try to come in and act like, oh, well, we're going to take, you're going to get everything. We're just, they were very open with me and told me what they were going to try to do and what they were going to do with me. And working with me and trying to help me to be able to get the insurance company to do what they needed to do.
So you really felt like you had somebody on your side to walk with you through your claim?
Totally. They put me very much at ease, and I had not been with that. With the insurance company, the people I had to work with them, I never felt at ease. I always felt like something was not right. They didn't care. They were very impersonal. They just didn't seem to care one way or another, and that's been true now for nearly 7 months.
Yeah, you didn't really feel like they were on your side.
Oh, not at all. No.
Yeah. And what would you say to other people out there who've experienced a loss and might be feeling the same way, wondering what to do, and might not have ever heard of a public insurance adjuster or FirstCall?
I think you need to investigate that because, like I said, I wish I had done it earlier. I wish I hadn't waited as long as I did to do it. But I think, like everyone, I believed in my insurance company. I thought, well, this is a good company. This is not a fly-by-night company. This is a well-established company. And I believe that they were going to do what they should do, what they rightly should do to help me to resolve one of the most horrific things that I've ever been through. I'd had a lot of loss in my life. But to suddenly turn around at age 63 and realize that my house burned on March the 9th, that as of March the 10th, it was like I had nothing to show I'd ever existed before except my children. Everything else I'd ever had in my life, from my parents and my grandparents, everything, my husband's, everything was gone. And so I felt very alone. I felt very disjointed from life. And it was like my life had only started March the 10th.
Well, I appreciate your time today, Susan. I really do. And it's been a pleasure for all of us at FirstCall working with you, and we're, again, so sorry about your loss. And
well, I appreciate that. Like I said, the one thing that these ladies did for me, they put me at ease, they made me comfortable. They helped me recall, because one of the things you have to do, as I found out, the insurance company expects you to list every single item you've ever had in your home, where you got it, what you paid for it, how long you had it, what the brand was. And I could not even remember, thinking about 4,800 square feet house, everything I'd ever had in my life, and I'm supposed to remember everything in every drawer and every closet, and how many, and it was just overwhelming. And they did a wonderful job of walking me through that, helping me get through it, putting me at ease, helping me remember things I hadn't even thought about, just by the fact that they were so experienced and had been so involved and had done these so many times before. It was just a whole different process working with them. And I talk to people all the time that ask me how I'm doing and what's going on, And I always talk about First Call and how wonderful the ladies have been and how I wouldn't be at this point. I would have already lost my mind by now.
Well, we appreciate the kind words, and you know that we do what we do to help people like you, and we appreciate you helping us get the word out to everybody else. That's the hardest thing for us to do, is just to let people know that we exist, and people know what their rights are, and that they have the right to a public insurance adjuster and somebody on their side. So we're glad that.
I'm sure most people, because that's not something you know. I mean, as much as I've done in my life, as many things as I've been involved in, as many insurance situations I've dealt with the loss of husbands and parents and everything, I thought I understood about insurance, but this was a whole different type of insurance. And I had absolutely, at that point, because I was in such a low state and had just was not able to think and to put things together. And it's very important to have someone to protect you in that situation, because you're very vulnerable. And the insurance company obviously likes to beat you down and make sure that you just do whatever they tell you, and you give in to it because you think that's the only option you have. And that's not true, but that's what I thought at that point.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. Do you have anything else you want to?
No, other than the fact that, like you said, I never would be here right now if it hadn't been for Dan and Tammy. And I appreciate them and their professionalism so much, because they've just made all the difference for me.
Good. And again, it's been great talking to you today, and we thank you for helping us get the word out.
Well, it's nice to have met you also.
Okay.